Hi, I'm Stu and welcome to Darlington. It's my awesome hometown in the northeast of England, and I did a couple of videos not too long ago where I showed you some of the sights and sounds of Darlington, and there's still so much left to see. So I thought I'd spend the day going around with my camera showing you more of this beautiful place. Now usually when I do these videos I'm on my own on a bike just travelling around, but today I have a friend who is behind me and he's all the way from Australia and he's called Tristan, and it's the first time that he's been out and about in Darlington, so it's a chance for me to show him around at the same time. So this is our first stop and this is North Road, and we're now looking at the oldest thing in Darlington, which is behind these behind this fence, and it's the Bulmer Stone with a little sign that tells you all about it. And if you can't read it, it says this boulder of sharp granite was left here by the last ice age circa 10,000 BC. Basically it was named after town crier Willie Bulmer, and it is the oldest thing in Darlington after me. So we've now left the stone, and although it's not the most exciting of things, it's still pretty impressive of how old it is. But we're heading up North Road, so called because it heads north from the town centre, and we're going to go to the outskirts of Darlington to see something I've not seen before, but it sounds pretty amazing. This is one of the busier roads within Darlington because it leads straight to the motorway with people coming off and on. I do want to give a shout out to Sophie, my neighbour, who we were looking for her to get a bike off her to lend, because most of the stops that was taken today are a few miles apart from each other, so we needed a bike for Tristan, and he's riding a retro bike. How was it?
Great, loving it.
And now we're heading just off North Road into what I would call rich man area. A lot of these houses are really expensive, and I'll show you some of them as we ride past. So yeah, some of these properties are some of the most expensive in Darlington. We are now on the outskirts of Darlington, and all around is farmland, and I'm hoping we are going the right way. We've got the directions, but we've stopped a couple of times to work out where we are, but it is beautiful even on a cloudy day like this. So we're here, the middle of the countryside, and on the map you can see that we're just north of Darlington, a couple of miles out from the centre. It's been a hard slog on the bike for poor Tristan, but we are here because of this thing here. Cockaton Bridge. It's the bridge that has no purpose. So once upon a time the River Skerne would have been running under this, but over the centuries they've moved the river to see where this tree line is over there. And this bridge has been here since the late 17th century, but there's always been a bridge here since medieval times. And this is part of the salters route, because salt in the olden days was important, and the route would go all through the northeast to all the small villages, and this would be packed with horses just delivering salt. I'm going to try and get over it and just see I've crossed the bridge. The bridge to nowhere. In fact, the bridge is just there, and we've just found the River Skerne, which is just here. And the reason it was moved was because it needed more power for the mills in the centre of town. So this is a proper bridge for a river. So that was Cockaton Bridge, the bridge of no purpose, but still interesting. Bit of history about Darlington and medieval history. But now we're heading back into the centre of town, and it's all downhill, thank God. And we're going to go to the next stop. Let's go. We've just been into the centre for a little break and grabbed a quick bite to eat to give us a bit more energy for carrying on. And our next port of call is just ahead from here. And you can just see it in the distance on the side of the wall. So this is a water fountain which was donated by Joseph Pease, and it's water for the thirsty. And there's a couple of them around town. It's obviously not working, but it's part of the history of Darlington. And the date that's on this fountain is 18, and we think that is 68. So this was a shorter trip from the centre of town, not like the last one, and then we are now going to jump back on our bikes and head that way towards Cockaton. So as we're passing it, I just thought I'd show you a quick glimpse of Darlington Memorial Hospital. And this is the place where they usually have Remembrance Day parades coming to here. It's now expanded the hospital itself to a bigger building over there. So this area here is, as you see on the map, to the west of Darlington Centre, and it's Cockaton stroke Favordale. And this place here used to be all industrial. It was all factories, and now it's been changed since the 80s into a conservation land with statues, play park, Marks and Spencer's. But what we're going to do is we're going to follow this path all along over the bridge and see what there is. So we're going over the bridge, we're heading out into the unknown, to see what is around here. More little statues. A big hill. Do you want to do the hill? No? Alright. We'll just stay in the steady. So this is the path that we've just ridden the bikes down, and there's just a short cut to come up to the top of this hill. And you've got a monument of some sort. Oh wow. Oh, signage. Straw leg sprinters. Use the third eye, yellow ringed, helping your chicks thrive. Yeah, whatever. And then for some reason there's a seat in the middle of nowhere. And then in the distance you can just see more of them. Let's go. So we've just walked from just over there and we're in the middle of a circle. I've lived in this town for 10 years. Didn't even know this place existed. But we're going to carry on walking, not riding, because we don't want to miss anything. I'm going to head that way. Look, there's more statues. So that's the circle of information. Going to this little path here to see some more words of wisdoms. Diver from the grave, pearls of air catch in your fur and scatter in silt. Wise words indeed. Oh, should we go that way? Oh, no, this way. This place is actually quite big, and I have no idea how many of these statues that are around here. It is amazing, especially with the nature. We've seen a rabbit, seen butterflies. It's nice. More words of wisdom. Steer this limestone arc, rapid pilot, dingy brown, rare as principles. but they all seem to have a font. This one's got butterfly in it. So that was the park, of which I still have no idea what it's called. But we're going back over the bridge, and I was very impressed. Oh, I've just seen this. Stop. So on the bridge, Joseph Pease stood in a furrow in the parish of Middlesbrough and saw a town in his tomorrow take flight. So Ionopolis, furnace that fell in his populace, was once as pastoral as this is, a part now rescued from the flood of prophets. Joseph dreamed it good and handed back to the bird and wood. The Pease's symbol was that dove, a pea pod in its beak that hovered over waters like the plover that now is nesting in this park, a prophet for limestone ark, whatever that means. So it's bye bye to this park, and it's time to head back home. So we've just come across this sign just on the entrance to the park, and we found that it's called West Park Garden Village, but it also lists in the estate nearby all the names of the streets and where the street names come from. Interesting. So obviously me and Tris have been out for most of the day, and this is his first time in Darlington. What do you think of my hometown?
Oh, it's great. It's lovely.
That's it. So that was an endorsement for Darlington from an Australian guy. And after a long day, it's time for me and Tris to head back home. But the final thing that is fascinating about Darlington, at least I think it's fascinating, is the street itself. All these streets that you see here were built during the railway revolution. So all the houses were built for the railway workers and their families, and you'll find that all these dwellings are all quite small, and they're all sort of 2 bedrooms with a kitchen, and these would be for the railway workers themselves. And as you get towards the end of the street, the houses are bigger at each end of all these streets going along this estate, and the larger houses were used for the railway masters, the head honchos, because they were bigger houses. And that makes me a railway master, because I live in one of these end houses, and that makes me quite important. At least I would have been in them days. But that's the end of the day. That's the end of the video. I've got a couple more weeks before I start backpacking around the world again. But if you've liked this video, you need to press that like button. If you want to subscribe and watch me see the world, press the subscribe button. But until next time, bye bye.